Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Make Your Mark. Oh my goodness, I have such I'm I'm so excited. I can't even get my words out. Right, she is awesome. Now, her name is Samantha Bai. Samantha is an international mountain leader and outdoor wellness coach. She founded N3 Academy in 2020 and is multi-passionate adventurepreneur. You're probably thinking, what does that mean? Well, we're going to go into that. Samantha has created a community of like-minded individuals to live life fulfilled, not filled full, through nature, connectedness, and well-being practices. She is a lover of cold water swimming. I know, right? Cold water swimming and her daily meditation practice. When not on the mountains or at sea, Samantha can be found taking others out on adventures, getting people to see what's on the other side of fear, and sharing her passions around sustainability and purpose-led missions. And boy, do I know what she does. I spent a weekend with her and wow, wow, wow. But we'll go into that later on. Please welcome to the stage, Samantha Bai. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, Kay.
No worries, no worries. Now, there's so many questions I have for you, right? Not only did I spend the weekend with you, you actually showed me what it was that you did and the kind of reflections and the results that I got, but I knew I had to have you on the show because of what you did, right? And so before we get into the nitty-gritty, I would love for you to share with our audience a little bit about how you got to this point, how you built your business. What was your journey like? Because we all know it doesn't happen overnight.
Yeah, so thank you, Kay. So I spent the last 20 years as a mountain leader, and that was not a proper job. So as we always get told by our peer group at the time, and then you just find a different peer group. So I loved being in the mountains and loved nature from a very small age. I was always happy climbing trees in the sea and sailing. And I had that experience when I was a teenager. And I was very fortunate that I did a programme. It's international now, but it was founded in the UK, called the Duke of Edinburgh's Award, which is a programme which compiles 4 sections, which is a service, volunteering, section. You do an expedition, like micro adventure. You have to do a skill, and you also have to do a physical activity. And I loved volleyball and I loved hockey at school, but I really came into my own on expedition. I absolutely loved it. It nurtured my leadership skills and my personality and that endurance that I had within me I didn't realise at the time. And when I got to the 3rd level, so I got to the gold level, my team of leaders put my name forward for a scholarship for a mountain leader summer training assessment and program, because they saw something in me and carried the belief in me to shine my light, as it were. That, in short, is thanks to a lovely man who's no longer here. He's up in the skies looking down at End Orion. And I did that alongside a business management equivalent undergrad in like an apprenticeship. Long story short, I got to the top in my company and I was bored. And
Oh, wow.
I was surrounded by the wrong people. That wasn't very it was a little bit toxic and not very empowering. And I just thought, you know what? Life's got to be better than this. And 2 weeks later, I was leading a trip to Peru and Bolivia, and that was my first expedition. So again, in terms of building up your skills and keeping your skills relevant, I was out either in the mountains most weekends, or I was doing sailing expeditions and understanding like what the different skills are for navigation and understanding the tides and seasonality. And that's where nature connectedness comes in. We all have it within us and understand that we are seasonal because we're humans, we're cyclical beings, but we live in this robotic, archaic, like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 job. And we get that removed from a very, very early age when we go through school, work, college and education and so forth. So along the lines, I did a lot of freelance work. I was one of the only female leaders at the time and just carried on doing what I did. I've always been a very curvy female and very fit and strong. And I've always loved coaching rock climbing, and like what comes with rock climbing, mountaineering and sailing is your knots and your rope work. And if you don't know how to do your ropes and you don't know how to do your knots properly, then you are up the creek without a paddle, as they would say. And you really need to know your stuff, because in the times of need, in terms of like risk assessment and like transitioning between one rock face to the next, like you need to know how to maneuver over dangerous terrain or uneven terrain, and you want to make sure that you are safe as an individual, but also your partners that you're climbing with, or as a group, you are safe as can be, and you manage that situation. And I'm very fortunate. I've been to over 100 countries now. I've done most kind of terrains. I haven't really done the polar regions. I've done like Lapland area, but that's one thing that's on my list. But I've been into jungles, up mountains. Mountains are my forte, because I'm very much about mountain mindset and the terrain that comes with that, and the just the exposure, the vastness, and how we feel very small but also very empowered when we're on top of a mountain. And yeah, that's like been 20 years of doing mountaineering. I've worked for various different companies, and then just before the pandemic, I thought I've been needing to do my own thing, and I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And over the last 7 years, I retrained because I've always done yoga, and I trained as a yoga teacher, and that's a really good combination when you're a rock climber or someone physically active, because it keeps your body stretched and your ligaments in good nick, as well as your bone health and functionality. And then I diverged and diversified into yoga therapy and holistic healing, and then I've merged the two into nature connectedness, and that's where Nature Nurture Nourish came about. In terms of my holistic wellness and finding inner harmony through different activities. And we work with the seasons. And like this morning, I was out cold water swimming, and like the health benefits of the lymphatic system and the circulation and boost your immunity, to nutrition and the Ayurvedic nutrition. So I brought everything together now, and I have my like leadership academy and my health academy, and it all comes through. And now I'm rolling with Adventurepreneur, because it's all about multiple income streams, living life fulfilled, and like just enjoying every moment on this earth.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I love everything you just said, and I have had first-hand experience with you. Oh my goodness. Now, you mentioned that you were in corporate and you realized you're around toxic people. You know, it wasn't for you. How old were you when you realized this?
How old?
Yeah.
23.
Okay, so you learned this at a really young age, right? And knew that this wasn't for you. Like, how did that come about, right? Because at that age, normally we're like, okay, we just got to suck it up because this is what it means to be in a 9 to 5. How did you know that, no, this is not what you wanted, this is not what you wanted your life to look like, and you had to get out now?
So I think that sense of adventure and like zest and vitality for life has always been there. But for me, it was the intuition and that gut instinct. And I'm in this cycle right now in the last 6 months that I'm leading with all my decision making through gut instinct and intuition. Make a decision. This doesn't feel right. This feels right. This doesn't feel right. I think on paper, when we join a company, and we don't know any different because we are in the system globally, that we go and do education, we get a job, we get employed, we either get paid per hour or the year and salaried, and then they drain you. Yeah. And I've always been a yes person, and I can rather than I can't, and that's where you overcome adversity, and that's why it's really important to embrace those fears when we're out and about doing life. And the point where I went for a job, a promotion for an outdoor centre as part of it was a fantastic company I worked for, and as part of they had a sailing club, they had a ski club, had all these different things at my fingertips, and they had residential homes and adventure centres. And I went for that promotion. I was overqualified, and my manager at the time said, "You weren't really going to get it. My friend's going to get it." And at the time, I didn't realise there was misogynistic behaviour and gender inequality. And I said, "Do you actually realise what I do outside of work and what leadership skills I had. And I just thought, you know what? One, I don't want to be spoken to like that. And secondly, this is not how I foster and work with people, because also alongside all the adventure things I've done, I've always done voluntary service or given my time back to non-profits. And I've been part of the Jubilee Sailing Trust, which is a specially designed tall ship for all abilities, for wheelchair users, blind, deaf, everyone, like any like amputees. I've worked with lots of people. And when you're on that ship, people are equal. Like there's no differentiation. And I've been involved with them since I was 15. And when I was in that job role in the corporate world, I just thought, this is wrong. And I'm telling people, and they're still validating it or backing, I'm not being heard. And I just thought, if they're not going to change, I need to move and change and diversify.
Yes, absolutely. And the fact that you had the guts to do that as well. Did you have a plan? Did you know what your next steps were going to be?
No. And also, as you know, I'm quite all in with my decision making when I in the time that you've known me. When I said I resign, I didn't know, and everyone, it was like a catapult, even like an earthquake went through the company. They thought I would never leave because they would give long service. And I said, and then everyone was saying, what are you doing? I said, I don't know, but I'm going to be living a life for the. And also, this is where, like, anyone that's listening to this, we're in these unusual times, again, like uncertainty. This was during the economic crash whenever it was 2008. Right. And everyone said, you're just giving up a salary and you've got all these benefits. I said, but I'm not happy and I'm not being heard. And I said, I've got a little bit of reserve. Something will come, and my opportunities, my doors opened. And I think when you have that such a strong intuitive life force or gut instinct, there's a reason why we have the gut brain axis, people. And that's a whole nother podcast I could talk about. But it's known as the second brain or the first brain. There's arguments in the medical field, but there is a reason why we have these feelings around our navel and our belly button, because It tells us it's wrong. And that's our intuition. That's our fight, flight, freeze, fawn mode when we were hunter-gatherers. Like, there's something doesn't feel right, we need to act on it and make a decision. But we usually don't take that decision because society brings us into judgment and, oh, you shouldn't do that, you should do this, and oh, what about this? And then the brain and the chimp comes back in the brain. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my god. So I remember having a similar thought when I left corporate. I was like, I'm done, I'm leaving. And the fact they wouldn't even let me leave, they wouldn't let me resign. Right? They were like, no, yeah. And then what happened a week later, voluntary redundancy came up. Mm-hmm. Right. And I was like, right, I'm going to do this. Right. Exactly. Right. So I was like, I wasn't meant to be there. Right. So let me leave. And I actually remember going to the heads and said to them, listen, if you don't let me take voluntary redundancy, then I'm going to be off sick for 6 months and you have to pay me in full. Yeah. Right. And so they gave it to me in the end. But I was like, I left with a pay. Right, because if I resigned the week before, I wouldn't have got anything a week later, and now I'm getting paid to leave, right? And so I had no plan, no nothing, no idea what I was going to do, but I knew it was going to be okay. 2 weeks later, figured out what I was going to do, made it happen for me, and then I was flying all over the place doing events. Like, it's insane, right? When your gut tells you got to go, everything just works out. It's meant to be. So I totally hear what you're saying with that. Now, I do have a question for you in regards to that, because I feel like sometimes you lose it, or you get so busy, or you get so stuck into something, right? Your intuition tells you, but we tend to ignore it, right? Mm-hmm. How can we combat that and start listening and not doubting ourselves?
Yeah. So key thing there is like feeling in the body and looking at mindset, but also inflammation in the body and physiological science. Because you hear people say they suffer with migraines, they got a bad back, they got an ache, oh, I've got joint pain, I've got this pain, or I need to go to sleep, I'm tired, I'm fatigued. There's something that keeps pushing you and prodding you, and you're not listening to it because the emotional and mental stresses is affecting your nervous system and your neurological system, and sending you messages all over the body. And this is where, like, from a health and like nutrition point of view, it's so important to really nurture what you are eating, who are you surrounding yourself with, but finding 5 minutes of silence, reflection, whatever that looks like for people. It might be running, it might be breathing, and just reconnecting to yourself. It's really hard to start with if you've never done this. It's like into the unknown, but stick with it. There's loads of different links I can send if people reach out, or you can go and do your own research on YouTube. But it is about like mindfulness as well. So our intuition is usually to do with like how we're speaking to ourselves. Are we being a sabotage person? Are we affirming positive ways that we go about life? Are we saying that we're beautiful, we're successful, we're worthy, or I can't be bothered, or in that kind of framework, or I'm just going to reach for the sugary snacks? It's all interlinked. It's like an onion layer of answers for you, Kay. But intuition comes from like embodied movement, feeling, connecting to different things. So if you like someone that listens to music, like find music that really connects to you emotively, and also sit with those emotions. Like, quite a lot of people say to me, "Oh, you're always happy," and I have to stop them and say, I'm not always happy. I choose, like, happiness and happy is not a constant state, but how you choose to go about your day, you can be content and you can also have acceptance. But like, there's different ebbs and flows, like in life, and cycles of hormone, especially as a woman, we have hormonal cycles as well as men, but more for us frequently, that you need to know, like, am I going to be a little bit more subdued now? Like, okay, what's the kind of intuitive, what does my body need? And I would say, like, with intuition, let's use movement as an example for women's health. Okay, so in our monthly cycle, so we should always move our body, like anyone, we should always move our body every day.
Right.
However, depending on what point you are in your cycle, you should might just feel what does your body need? Okay, I need to go for a walk today. I need to do some yoga nidra or some gentle like stretches, deep openings of the chest and the arms, or actually I'm feeling like I could run a marathon, or I could do some weights in the gym, or I fancy like doing a HIIT class or a cycling class. Like, that is like, find an area of your life, I would say, is the best way to tune into your intuition. So whether it's food, whether it's movement, or whether it's like lifestyle, like really just take a moment to think, right, what is it my body feels like right now? Do I feel heavy? Do I feel light? Do I feel energized? I feel fatigued and tired? Like Friday night, for example, intuitively, like, I've had a full-on schedule. You came to stay with me last weekend, and all these things happening, and all these exciting opportunities and business growth and everything, that all of that compound effect happened. Friday, 6:30, I was in bed. I'm like, I need to do some meditation. And then I was asleep. I had a really long sleep. And then this weekend, like, I've just been working on like movement, like light movement, going for my cold water swim, meditation, read a chapter of a book, have really wholesome, nourishing food that is not processed or ultra processed or high in sugars. But that comes with lots of experience. And I know that's a waffly answer, but there's lots of different things. It's not really simple. I don't know.
So there's people listening to this, a lot of them are business owners, and they're probably thinking, but Sam, what's this got to do with business? Yeah. Right? So can you explain how making sure that, you know, our mindset, our bodies, our intuition and meditation, how this actually helps and reflects in our business as well, and how has it helped you?
So I would say, starting, like, I'm doing my interview sat cross-legged on my meditation cushion, so I'm in a really good, comfortable position, and my spine's in alignment, so I can speak to you, and I feel in a really strong pose, but also I feel like it's grounding. And in terms of business ownership, and we talked about this the other week, that sometimes we can set intentions to say, right, New Year's coming, it's round the corner, we're going to go on a nutrition fix, we're going to go to the gym, we've got a gym membership, we're going to go XYZ and do loads of things, and then it never gets done. Mm-hmm. As a business owner, when you look after your own health and wellness and you have your own disciplined daily rituals, habits, whatever they are, like health habits, these will strongly correlate with your business growth, your success, and everything that happens. Because if you don't do these things, for us as self-employed people or small business owners of limited companies or partnership, and as you scale and grow, burnout is around the corner. And guess what? Your sales, your business will completely plateau, or worst case scenario, get into worst, like it will hit rock bottom and then you have to close. So in terms of business ownership, the best thing I can recommend people to do, if you don't already do this, is find something to move your body every day. So like tune into what you need. And each day is going to be different. So for me as a business owner, I work an hour a day, but I also am really disciplined with my health and well-being. Quite a lot of people think that I'm on holiday all the time, or I'm sussing out spa breaks, but it's because I'm so disciplined with my own practice. The rest follows, and it has changed the way I work my business. So in terms of hours, like I'm really focused on task orientated on 5, 10, 15, half an hour and an hour tasks. And I'm much more productive in those hours and those across the week than I would be if I wasn't doing self-care and meditation and movement. Secondly, nutrition. And like, you know, because you do a lot of events, like it's really hard to keep on top of your health. Mm-hmm. And fundamentally, like gut health and your gut microbiome is the most important thing to look after as a business owner, because your gut health is, and your microbiome and the vagus nerve that is connected is also responsible for the rest of your systems in your body. And this is where like you need to look after that and keep your immunity strong, because as we come into winter months here in the UK, that's when all the colds, flu symptoms, and we feel tired, fatigued, or I can't be bothered, not necessarily can't be bothered, but less productive and less lowered cognitive function. And that links to like nutrition. So making sure that you're getting a real wholesome, nutrient dense food, like a rainbow of food plan across the week, reducing ultra processed foods and reducing those high sugary foods, as we all know. And even if you are someone that drinks alcohol, that keeping it to like moderation across the festive period, because you will notice the difference. Your eyes will be brighter, your skin will glow, you'll have much more like effective cognitive function with those really important business decisions. And take it from me, someone that like has disciplined those rituals and like implemented those routines with my business partners. They're all in mass growth, business growth, but also all areas that their life are leveling up. And that is in addition to personal development. So reading things like Atomic Habits by James Clear is a fantastic book. He also has a podcast. For anyone that wants to find out more about gut health, go and follow Professor Tim Spector. He's the founder of the Zoe program. There are like various different books like The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod and The Miracle Equation, which is a formula of like you're only 2 decisions away from your best life, or like The Best Year Yet by, I can't remember her name, but The Best Year Yet is a fantastic book as well. But it gets you really thinking about this correlation with health and business ownership, because without one, you can't have the other. And what I love about Hal Elrod in his Miracle Equation book, he says you can't have a level 5 business with a level 2 person. You have to be the same level as your business that you want it to be. So you really need to be ticking off all those areas of like your life wheel, if you're familiar with your life wheel, and priority and making it as a priority.
Absolutely. I love that. Now I need to mention to the audience, when I was with you in the weekend, we did so many different things, right? One of them was you said you're going to create a vision board, right? And I created one back in 2014, which is really old now, and we created a new one. And the way you did it, right? I've not seen it done like this before, but you had a ton of different magazines and you told me to go through them all. And if I spent too much time on any of them, you took them off me, right? And whatever pictures kind of stood out is what I cut out and put on the vision board. And then we looked at the vision board and everything on there was personal development, right? Nothing on there was business. And then I got upset. I was like, oh my God, do I not care about my business anymore? Right? And you said, no. Actually, you tell them what you said.
I said that is the key to unlocking your business growth, but also you may have got to a point where you're not necessarily stuck, but you're not seeing the growth that you anticipated because you've put business first before you. And now you know that you need to put you through. And also you had a lot of blues. So we knew that it was about communication, you stepping into your speaking authority and sharing your story globally, but also from a holistic point of view for anyone that is spiritually aware, that like blues is all about like communication and but also emotional healing, and that links back to that self-care and nurturing that inner child.
Right. Oh, and this is the thing I learned so much in the weekend, right? Even the whole nutrition thing, right? You've helped me, and I'm taking all the stuff, right? Yeah. And it's so funny because I only started taking it last week while I was at an event. Yeah. And when I came home and I was exhausted, I was like, I'm going to bed. My brother turned around and goes to me, you're going to take your makeup off? And I said, I haven't got no makeup on. Right? So in just those few days of me taking those drinks, right, yeah, made a difference in the skin. And then with my coaching clients, they've actually said to me when I've had one-on-ones with them, your energy is different. Right? And I'm like, whoa, this works really quick, right? Yeah. And so, guys, if you're watching this, if you're listening to it, you need to contact Samantha, right? Like, she can make miracles happen really quickly as long as you listen to her advice. It's amazing. And so now I've met her, know what she can do, and I've seen it firsthand. Oh my goodness, she's going to be stuck by my side. I'm telling you, forever. She is amazing. Now, Sam, if there's anything we haven't mentioned and you feel like the audience need to know this, what would that thing be?
Always follow your gut instinct. And remember that you have a story that someone needs to hear.
I love it. I love it. Now, Samantha, if someone wants to connect with you right now, they can't wait, right? They want to work with you. Where would they go?
The best two platforms right now are on Instagram. So you can follow me and connect on my DMs at Samantha by UK. And then on LinkedIn, which is Samantha by Adventurepreneur.
Fantastic. And guys, if you missed any of that, they will be in the show notes. So make sure you scroll down below or reach out to me and I will connect you with Sam for sure. Sam, it was awesome having you on here. Learned so much. So many golden nuggets in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for listening to Make Your Mark podcast at www.makeyourmarkpodcast.com. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get this and every other episode that comes out. We have lots of great stuff coming, so make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And thank you in advance for all the reviews and comments. I appreciate it so much, and I look forward to serving you in next week's episode.